Hi there. I'm back once again with a topic that's covered by this guy yesterday, and let me move myself to the side, because as you can see he's using a software that I really like and thanks for that polarity. I'm pretty happy. And in this video he just covered the topic of delays, and I would like to say that this gave me the idea to do this video, but that's not the truth. Actually, I had this idea for a few days now that I want to create a video about delays, and for the main part I want to show you what a delay does first, using a scope. So we have a dry signal here, which is going to be a simple burst. So if I set the scope to Hertz mode and tell it to make a refresh on 1 Hertz. So if I move this knob, we have a peak there. If I move it back, we have another peak, because we are truncating the value, which means that we only take the whole number. So if this is if this outputs 1 exactly, then we have one value, no steps, no interpolation, nothing. And this change only outputs a value if a change happens before it. So then it says that, okay, a change happened, I output 1. So this is good for checking stuff out like delays. So if I plug the output of this change here and plug this into the B slot, then we will immediately see that the color of the line changed. And if I remove the first one, then you can see that there's an orange line as well. So these two signals overlap. As soon as I give the delay some length, they will start to move aside, and another peak appears, which is apparently different in gain. And that's not a problem, because this is how interpolation inside the delay line works, and interpolation is required if you are doing delay modulation, or you want to have a resolution that's not sample rate dependent. And here we are using milliseconds, and we have to calculate with values that are not fitting to the sample rate resolution, and this is required, so that's a good thing to have. But for demonstration purposes, I show you that this can exactly replicate the incoming signal without any loss. We just have to multiply the length of a sample for the delay time, and we have to use whole numbers. So let's say 30 is fine. And if I move the knob now, or 100, or even more, 200, oh, we can go longer. Yeah, this way you can see the two lines are exactly matching, and on 0 they cancel each other out. So as you can see, a delay that does nothing else than it delays the signal by several milliseconds, or with some value. That's the delay value. So it can be beats, it can be milliseconds, it can be even hertz, because hertz is the reciprocal of time. So that's clear. And what does it sound like? If I use an input, I1, and plug it into here, and remove this structure and plug it into the other part, and use the same delay, Then we can crossfade between the two outputs using this knob. And then we can hear the result. And I've prepared the stock Ableton Live breakbeat again. And that should be okay, except that I didn't patch it there. So now both of your ears will hear the loop. And that's what delaying sounds, so it really just delays the sound. And we can do nice things with the delay, because we can put this into a loop. So if we add the output of the delay back to its input, then we will delay again the delayed signal and mix it to the input, so that will create an echo, but this way the echo will be endless. So we can put a gain note here and take care about the feedback. So, and what can we do with an echo? We can put a filter into the loop, like a one-pole filter. That's a nice thing in a loop, like this low pass part, and loop. Or this high pass part. Or even the bandpass is fine. And we can even put non-linearities here, like a 10H distorter. The 10H function is something like this, so it's a bit lower than it's something like this, and it creates an S shape, so we have to put something like this in the center, and it looks something like this maybe, and that's a soft clipper. And this way we can go beyond one if we want to. So I will create now feedback that's going to jump out to the space. So yeah, this is the basic function of delay, so we can create crazy effects, and as you can see, it's since this is below 1, it slowly comes back. If I change the filter frequency, it's going to fade away again for a while, but then it will come back. if we wait a bit, probably it should come back. But yeah, it's starting to raise, but very slowly. Now I can hear it. Sounds like Karma Police. Okay, so enough from dub delays. You can go crazy with it, really. It's lots of fun. But you've seen me doing this patch lots of times, but in instruments. So let me create an instrument and using the MIDI note node. I used to use the trigger and put an envelope follower behind it and simply multiply it. But now I will use a gain because that looks more user friendly, like this, and I'm going to put a white noise in here. I think you've seen me doing this several thousand times if you followed me already. And then you can convert the pitch to milliseconds. Conversion pitch to milliseconds, like that. And you can really just put it into the delay. So now if you receive a MIDI note, the MIDI note's data is going to be converted to milliseconds. And it makes sense because the MIDI notes represent pitch, and pitch represents frequency. But since frequency is linear from 0 to whatever frequency you are playing the sound on, but typically in sound we talk between 0 and 22,000 hertz. So that we have to use a scale that fits on a piano. The piano has usually 88 keys, and on 8 bits we can represent, on 7 bits 128 values can be represented. And so this pitch is a logarithmic scale that really is related to the keys on the piano. And if it can be converted to hertz, so it can be converted to milliseconds, because this represents frequencies on the MIDI keyboard. And sorry if this makes no sense at all. My English is still not my native language, and I'm still Hungarian. And if you understood the word Hungarian, then you would understand that it's hard to learn English for us. It's not so hard, just to speak fluently and think in English is a bit difficult, at least for me. But I think I'm getting fine with it lately. Okay, and I never learned it, so it's all from the internet. Okay, but let's continue. If I create the same structure using the gain lane for feedback and using the filter one pole and plugging this back there, and let's create just a small gain lane, create the two outputs, and if I hit a key, yeah, that's the famous Karplus-Strong patch. Which somewhat resembles a string. And what you still wanna take in account is this little Z sign, this guy here. That means that one sample delay occurs during this feedback. And what that means is this. If I play this C note and play 2 octaves higher, it's out of tune, and it can only be fixed by subtracting from the delay time the length of a sample. So if it's pretty intuitive. So if you have a delay that has more, a delay loop that has more than more delay than what you want to have by one sample, then just subtract the length of a sample out of it, and you will be fine. And take a listen. It's in tune. Nice. And as you know, you can go pretty crazy with this, and this is just a delay. And I really like this kind of synthesis, because if you use twice as much or 2 delays and create another white noise, and yeah, here I create the add part, and we'll input this guy. And for delay time, I'm going to use the same delay time as above, and the output is going to go there. So no cone is needed here. It wasn't needed, it's just cosmetics. And I will use the same values as above. So I'm going to use the same pitch here, the same gain there, crank up the modulations, and same low pass, and these will come here. And this way we will have a ultra wide stereo sound. I think this is always fun. So this is also something you can do with delays. But let's get back to this loop. There's still something we didn't cover, and for that I'm going to go crazy, and I will just move this. You know what this is from the early 2000s clubs? The flanger. And let's listen to the delay only. So if you listen to the delay only, that sounds like pitch modulation, but together they make this effect. And yeah, you can create a flanger by using a modulated delay. Let's create an LFO, multiply it with the depth, plug that in there, and this is already a flanger. But you can also create the feedback here, because flangers often have this parameter, and then you have the welcome to trance. And yeah, you can still filter stuff like before this part, before the input comes in, you can remove the low frequencies like that, and then it will be smoother. Or you can do all kind of crazy stuff with these. Yeah, and you can also invert the feedback, then it will sound like a phaser. And you can do many things. You can also create all-pass filters and stuff, and create phasers and have fun with delays. And one more thing I want to cover, and then it's all with delays for me, is the Doppler effect. And the Doppler effect can be used first. What is the Doppler effect? When a car passes by, you hear that as it comes closer, the sound is static, like, but as soon as it gets away from you, its sound gets lower, like, and that's because of as it gets more far and far away, the signal has to travel a longer way than it had to do it before, and if you try to think of it like someone is throwing balls at you with the same speed, then the balls will, if he's getting more far away, then the balls, the frequency the balls arrive to you is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. No, lower and lower and lower, because it's the frequency and not the time between the arrival of the balls. So, and this is something that we can use. So for demonstration's sake, I'm going to create an incrementer here, and an incrementer does nothing else, just always increment its value by something. And we are going to use the sample rate here and the length of a sample. So on each sample, this incrementer will be increment by the length of a sample. And let me first I wanna trigger this incrementer. I will use the clock on every beat, and just if you take a listen, as you can see, there's no delayed signal going in, so the output is 0. It's just a constant value, and this is because of the delay is moving on the same speed as the sound that comes in. But if we multiply these, the incrementer value, so if we increment the delay every time by the half of the sample rate, let's play it. You know this. That's half the speed, and this is basically the half step or half time, or I don't know. There's a plugin called that does exactly this. It's called, I think, half time, and it's basically a modulated delay. So you can use a delay for basic pitch shifting, but also for complex pitch shifting. These guys here are also delay-based effects if it comes to pitch shifting. So we can do this, and if we plug if we increase by the double, let's listen to what happens. Reverse. And I think that's interesting. And you can even also create reverse echoes, like you can put this in a feedback, and that's where craziness starts, I think. So let's take a listen to this. No, not like this. This did not make too much sense, I think. But with nested delay lines, you can go crazy, like reversing. If we add a constant value, like let's say 300 to this, yeah, delaying this wave would make sense, I think. Let's try it, and this is just an experiment. Like this, not the most beautiful patch ever, but yeah. So let's take a listen. Yeah, it works. So I think this is fun. So it's not a ping pong, but it's a reverse delay where the output the reverse signal gets reversed and reversed back and stuff like this. So this is something fun, and we can create pretty sick effects using these. But one more thing we can use a delay for. It's going to be based on a custom function. So if you know the effect growth speed, I think that's what we are going to create now, like create something between 0 and 1 or 0 and 4. Yeah, 4 beats are going to be fine. And let's create 64. No, the max should be 4 here as well. And 0 here, and 64 bars and 64 bars. I don't know, 4 4 for the time being, and snap everything and make this custom function a bit bigger. And let me create several points here which are going to be okay. And I want a modulo declock, sorry, so it always goes back to the start by 4. And let's turn off snapping, and we can create some points here, and we can snap those, and this way we have a stutter effect. But since the output is 4 bits, we need to multiply this by a BPM sync node and use the millisecond output of it, and this way we should have some stutter effect. Let's plug in the input and the full LED signal. Let's take a listen to what we have. It works. Now let's make it a bit more interesting, like give it some resolution. So as you can see, this really looks like growth speed. And now it sounds like this. Yeah, that's a stupid pattern. Let's move it like this and get there. Take a listen. And let's increase the resolution and give it some more spice, like this. And let's go back here, like this and like this, and let's take a listen. And I want to have a step there, and let's increase this to med values, and I need to make this bigger. And we can work like this. And this way we have a part that's so yeah, that's okay there. Let's create something here as well. And why am I not able? Oh, there is something like that. Okay, then I remove this point and this will go there. This way it should be fine. Well, that's not the best point, so let me remove this. And put something like this here. Or maybe like this. That sounds glitchy and I like it. And I decrease this like this, and 16 is fine maybe, and then I can create a straight term there, or the inverse of it. So we can go nuts, really. So these kind of stutter effects are also fine with delays, and you can really do a lot. And you can even create a tape stop effect and everything. And this is just a delay there, and everything else is just controlling the delay. This is a modulated delay, and I think this is wonderful that one little node like this is able to do that much. And did I mention reverbs? Also based on delays. So basically, in the end of the day, all you can do with sound is running the sound through a function, and then it's basically multiplying, adding, or something like this. The other thing you can do is delay it, and as soon as you delay, you are using this guy. So basically, maybe it's too brave to say that half of the audio processing is delay, but most of the effects make use of a delay in some ways. And I hope this gave you a somewhat rich insight of what delays can do, and I hope this was useful and interesting. And once again, thanks for Polarity for using Alpha Forever, and I hope he won't be mad at me that it looks like that I'm stealing his topic. It's not true. I wanted to do this on my own, and I hope that I didn't repeat him on too many parts. And thanks for watching, and subscribe and leave a comment, and ask me anything. If I can help you, I will. Or if you have a question regarding Alpha Forever, just let me know and I'll answer it. And yeah, it's the 17th of March. We say Március in Hungarian, so it's I really don't know how to say this month. But in a few days my new track will come out, and I didn't make a video for it yet, and that scares me. Anyways, it's going to be called Collision, and I hope you will like it. And thanks for watching, and happy noding, and use delays and make some good music. Bye bye.